All I got to really do is dry it off.
What are those?
Parchment paper.
Oh, you wet palette?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So I'm thinking we're live right now, but my field of vision is fairly narrow.
Yeah.
And it's so what I'm thinking is I can't put this on a tripod. It's too big to put on a tripod. But I can stack it on something. This is my super professional live stream we got going on here. Let me stack this on something.
I ordered these ball bearings trying to take and get something I could put in the paint pots to kind of act as an agitator.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. I should have ordered the 6mm ones.
Bigger?
Yeah, these are 1/8 inch.
With stainless steel?
Yep. So they won't react with the paints or any thinners or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I was playing around with this idea. You can get a low-grade stainless steel, so it's still ferrous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these are semi-ferrous.
They're semi-ferrous? Well, that's perfect, because this is what you do. And here's my plan. You get a magnet sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you put the magnet sheet on your workbench. So you put your pots on the magnet sheet with your ball bearings in it, and you can't knock them over ever.
You should see I forgot them at my house. I'm going to kick myself in the ass for not bringing them.
Yeah.
I 3D printed these little containers off of Thingiverse that these paint pots fit beautifully in, and they've got about a 1/2 or 3/8 of an inch rim around them. It takes some work to spill one.
Oh, they look like a rebar caps.
Kind of, yeah.
So right size, obviously.
Yeah. But then I also I printed the 20mm tall ones for these size pots.
Mm-hmm.
But then I stretched the model to a 30mm, so it goes all the way up here on the shades and the the new contrast paints.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, all the contrast paints have the big box.
Well, they're kind of in between. They're not the size of the shades, but they're not exactly small either. Or the kind of in between these.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never noticed.
Yeah, that was one of the things I compared when I was setting up with them.
See, I'm still playing around with the camera more than I am anything else right now.
That's why I'm putting my hands out there so you can actually kind of see and get an idea.
Yeah, because I want to do this more often, but it's almost like I want this camera to be like here.
Yeah.
And the only reason I haven't used this thing is YouTube changed their policy or whatnot. And the only way you can stream off of a mobile device is if you have 1,000 subscribers and 100,000 hours watched or something like that.
Jeez. Oh, there it is.
So this is technically a laptop.
Yeah.
So it plays nice. But so we got.
I wonder if you get a bar stool, maybe you can put it back further and that'll open that field of vision.
You know, I was thinking maybe, bar stool, and then I work here, put the camera over here, so it's facing.
Or what if you put it over there, face this way?
That's smart. I like that better. And then that way, we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Measures a little bouncy ball. You can actually use her, set it here and shoot that way. You don't have a power out. Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah. So is this in the screen?
Yeah, that's in the screen.
And then are you in screen?
A little bit. I bet you if we
that's
moved
all
you
your
over
stuff.
here,
this would be good. I think see me this is where I'm going to be working.
Yep.
And then I think that'd be good. All right, cool. Okay. We're experimenting. Now, see, I wish I could use the other camera.
Yeah.
So I could see it, but you know what I could do? On my iPad,
view
it, and there'll be a little bit of latency.
But it won't be that bad.
Yeah.
Have you used the new Citadel color palette stuff on their iPad apps?
I have used their app. It's really nice. I updated it.
Yes.
But I haven't really used it since the update.
So this is some of the cool stuff. I've been playing around with it a lot more since the update. Because with all my different armies, I'm losing what I need to paint and that kind of stuff. Now, granted, a lot of times I go completely off their color rails, and I go something else. Yeah, we get a little background there.
Yeah.
But like, what's really cool, if I go here to my projects, flip it like that, and I click here to Sylvaneth, I can go to models, which are their predetermined kind of model colors.
Yeah.
Or I can go to colors, and they're colors I've chosen to paint. So
does it render on the new model or no?
No, but it still uses the backpack, but that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So like some of these are going to get those red flowers. So I'm going to use the Sinister Red palette. So I brought those paints with me so I can do some of these with that. And then some of these guys have this little imp looking fairy thing riding on their back. Here it is. So like this little fairy imp thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So I've chosen to paint them like this little dark turquoise kind of color.
You're probably already doing it, but I'm just thinking like you could denote squads. Like this is my cherry blossom squad. This is my apple tree and just base it off those flowers.
I'm toying hard with that. Cool. Or I'm kind of thinking either I can make them denoted squads, or I can take and set them out. Just add color to the army.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're supposed to be, tree people.
Yeah.
You can get away with it. That's one of the things like always got me with like Marines.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to do squad markers, but at the same time, I want to be able to mix and match the units.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in something.
Exactly. And that's one of the cool things about Primaris is there's really not a whole lot of armor front of that.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. But so I heard that you've built these before, right?
Yeah.
I heard this thing actually should go on after the walls are built because it keeps the side panel from popping.
I've never had any problem with it.
Never had. Okay, cool.
Now, when I did the side panels, I came in kind of at an angle and rolled it up.
Okay.
So that opened it up a little bit more. I was experimenting with these with that because that's Citadel stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's just sand, stucco, and then some burnt umber paint mixed into it.
I like this. This is probably gonna be harder to put a model on.
It is, but it gives it more
texture.
More texture and more individuality.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the same repetition. Because to make this, all I did is I just took a little hobby stick, scooped it out of the cup, and just tapped it on.
Yeah. That's kind of how I do the snow bases. I use the drywall filler and mix it with paint and glue because I've done it before without the paint. It turns yellow.
Yeah, I'm on my wife's space walls, their snow. I'm using equal parts baking powder and glue and paint. So a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio.
Are we still calling it your wife's space walls? Wink, wink, nudge, or actual wife's space walls?
I call it her space walls because that way it makes it sound like I'm not so addicted.
First step, just getting cured is admitting there's a problem.
Yeah, but what if you don't want to be cured?
This is true. I mean, look, it's like the pot calling the kettle black with you and I in that kind of regard. So if you get way more done.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to lie. Since we don't really have a whole lot going on at the shop, it's kind of really hard to get motivated to do a whole lot.
It is. I will admit that. Oh, if you haven't played with their inventory system, this thing is awesome. Because like I went through and I went and picked all the different colors that I needed for different stuff. And I put it all into the wish list. And then when I went to the store, all I had to do was bring the iPad in, click it over the wish list, and these are what I need to pick up.
That's legit.
So the only thing I have yet to pick up, I have to pick up a Wraithbone pot.
So you can fix up your base.
Yeah, so I can fix the mistakes I make, which are many. And I mean, I'm not the best painter in the world. I do make mistakes.
Oh, I mean, yeah, everybody is in that category. I mean, I'm not the best painter ever. I'm really good. My Ultramarine scheme, they came out good, but
well, like with these guys, I almost had to restart all of my Sylvaneth here because I didn't want to spend $20, $40, whatever it's going to cost me to buy enough Citadel spray paint to do the base on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really should have looked at the contrast scheme before because they recommend the gray undercoat.
Yeah, gray sear or whatever.
Yeah, gray sear undercoat. This is a flat white
Rust-Oleum.
Rust-Oleum, yeah.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that Games Workshop is saying you need their special primers and whatever. I don't buy it.
Neither do I, because I mean, if you look at this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. If I had gone with a gray primer, it'd be darker. But the more I look at it, the more it looks like aged driftwood, like we'd see around the riverbanks around here.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with this.
And in all honesty, I think the only benefit really to using their primer is you know exactly what the color output's going to be.
Exactly. It's formulated to match this.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I will say is when I started painting these, all I had was some gloss white sitting around, and I sprayed some with gloss white.
That probably worked out horribly.
Yeah, because like you'll see one or two of them where I did go back over them and hit them with the flat white, but you'll see one or two of them. I'll have like a little runny patch on the underside where the flat didn't cover the gloss, and it just slid off that gloss coloring.
Yeah,
but I'm not so concerned about that. It's not a big deal to me.
But I mean, like for this particular instance, the contrast is perfect. You got to pump out a buttload of infantry real quick.
Oh yeah, and to do all 56 of these guys in contrast took half a bottle.
So half a pot bottle?
Yeah, half a pot bottle.
Okay.
So I mean,
it's actually not bad.
No, not bad at all. Not when you're talking 56 of these little buggers.
What is that? The
Dryads?
No, the apothecary white, or is that what is that?
No, this is. Give me 1 second. It's Griff something.
How many?
Let's see, paint by model, Dryad.
Yeah, it's a little darker than the Citadel white.
Well, it really should come out almost a brownish kind of color. If I'd have used the gray, it would have. But I kind of like this. This is Griff Charger Gray over flat white.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I love the new sprues, but there's too much going on.
There is a lot on the sprues, but it gives you a lot of extra stuff.
Yeah. You've put together one of these, right?
Yes. No, I only had like a handful of extra parts because I literally magnetized everything.
Well, that's my goal. That's what I'm going to try to do today. But
I really should have brought that. When I was in Alexandria, I stopped at the game shop, and that's when my wife's vehicle threw that CV axle.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Well, the guy at the shop, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Otherwise, I'd give him a shout out.
Right.
Or shop. I'll have to look up the shop name again in a second. But the guy at the shop let me and my wife and my child stay there until my brother got there to pick us up and help tow back the van. So I mean, somebody's going to let you stay at your shop for hours on end.
Yeah.
I kind of felt, not that I felt compelled, but I felt that it was the right thing to do to buy something from him. So I went ahead and picked up the Rex model of the Knights, the Wolf Knight.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm working on building him, but I'm trying to figure out how to magnetize everything.
And that's part 69. Part 68.
Let's see here. I'm going to find that shop's name because I definitely want to give that guy a shout out. Because it was really cool of him to help us out.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, and you went up there for that shop too, didn't you?
Yeah, I went there to go. Well, we were already up there for my wife's my daughter's confirmation stuff at the Wesley Center.
Okay.
So I was like, well, heck, we're here. I've never been to this shop. Let's go ahead and run there.
Yeah.
I do know it's on Texas Avenue. I'm going to find it. Let's see here. Games Workshop mobile app is not our mobile page is not the easiest to navigate.
I think they tend to push you towards their own people anyway.
Well, no, I'm just saying, just finding the store locator in here is like on my laptop. You scroll all the way to the bottom, boom, it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't fault them for kind of pushing their shops
Of course
because
not. Yeah, no. Chaz is cool down at Riverbend.
yeah, he is.
What are you gonna tell me about your Sylvaneth or Sylvaneth off of somebody else? That's what I'm waiting to see.
I've already told him it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, but I mean, I've spent.
Yeah, I don't even want to know.
I spent $300 at his shop already.
Yeah.
So I mean,
all these repulsors.
Let's see here. The name of the place was Now Plain. It is 1235 Texas Avenue, Alexandria, Louisiana.
There it is.
I give y'all a shameless plug because y'all helped us out.
Shameless. No shame. Where's part 73?
That's the hard part.
I see 70. I see 71. I see 72. 73?
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about them is they've got it laid out so that it's kind of hard to find.
Well, they're not in order.
Yeah. Or like if you buy the Carnarth Hunters, one hunter, you get 3 sprues. You would think 1 hunter per sprue.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they probably do that so people can't recast it as easily.
Well, I think the reason they're doing it, not so much for recast prevention, but it's just saving space on the sprue.
Yeah.
Because some of these weapons for the Carnarth Hunters are absolutely huge. Let's see, brushes. All right, as bad as this sounds, I don't use very many GW brushes.
I don't think anybody really does.
Some of the best brushes I have ever used are these little tester brushes I got from Michaels.
Yeah, those are good. I use the what I normally do is I get the really cheap ones, like $2 or $3 brushes.
Yeah.
And I use them up, and when they're no longer good, I trim the dry brushes.
Yep.
And then when my dry brushes, are bad, they just get tossed, right?
Yep.
And I get decent output, so I'm not too terribly worried about, spending $30, $40 on a brush. But now I'll tell you this: if you are shooting for like, your Ever Chosen or your Golden Demon or whatever, whatever brush you want, man, make it happen. And in all honesty, I'm not the best at like cleaning my brushes. So even if I were to buy an expensive one, I'd probably just ruin it anyway.
Well, like my cleaning mixture I'm using is a mixture of 3/4 Ellie's Totally Awesome and 1/4 91% isopropyl alcohol.
Oh, so you actually been working yours. Well, I use the alcohol too, and I use the alcohol for spot stripping models. People are always like, "You need like this special stuff." No, just rubbing alcohol, 91 proof, you're good.
Yep. I mean, it's so useful to have around the house. I don't know why somebody would not have rubbing alcohol just to be able to have it around the house.
Yeah, I mean, your basic first aid kit, you should have that.
What I don't like is when I can't find 91%, because 91%, it's not a huge difference.
Oh, it makes a difference when you use it, though.
But yeah, when you go to use it, there is a big difference. It's like when I was in high school, I got a hold of a friend of mine worked for a chemical company, and I needed some hydrogen peroxide. So he said, "Sure, I'll get you some hydrogen peroxide." Brought me a 2-liter that was white. It's like, dude, where's the hydrogen peroxide? He goes, "Oh, it's in the 2-liter." Well, why is the 2-liter white? Why'd you paint it white?
You got scientific grade.
It's like, it's not painted white. That's the hydrogen peroxide whitened it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what do you mean? He goes, "This is 30 molar hydrogen peroxide."
Did it burn your skin off?
If you get it on you, yes, it will.
Yeah, good Lord.
My dad was pouring some in to do something. I forget what I think he was diluting it down. And a drop hit him on his hand or on his arm. And within the half second it took him to just shake his arm to knock the droplet off, it had already whitened his skin.
Good Lord. Man, so that's the thing. Like, they tell you, handle with care. Handle with care. I don't know, man. I think the crazy stuff was when I was working at LSU. We had like 100 proof alcohol, so we could run it through our machines, and it would pop out. This is 100% alcohol, right? We could calibrate it with that, and the smell was so strong. It burnt your nose from 5 feet away using it.
Oh, absolutely. When I was working for a company here in Slidell, I was working in what we call the glasswares lab. Basically, I was a glorified dishwasher for laboratory equipment glass.
You were maintenance. That's what that is.
Oh, one day my boss comes to me and says, "Hey, we got to change out the acid baths for these chemicals." Now, what we did is we were doing testing on oil, mud samples and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime they would use a tray or something like that, it would come to me. I'd rinse it in hot soapy water with Dawn. Then I would give it an acetone rinse, and then it would sit in 10 molar hydrochloric acid for an hour, and then it would come out and air dry. And that's how we made sure we had no more hydrocarbons, so you didn't invalidate the next test.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my boss comes to me and says, "Well, we need you to empty the vats out." So I'll put it through the proper disposal methodology. And it's time to mix up new 10 molar hydrochloric acid.
Oh, so you guys made it?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they gave me a full chem suit, full Tyvek chem suit.
What?
I said, "What's this for?" And they go, "Well, you're going to have to mix the acid and get it down to 10 molar. I said, "Okay, well, where are we starting?" 33 molar. It's like, Jesus.
How long did that take?
It didn't take real long. They said, "All right, well, here's what you do. See the mark inside the container?" "Yes, ma'am." "Fill up the container with deionized water to that level." So I'd fill it up. Okay.
And she's behind like a blast shield right now, right?
No. She's like, "Okay, when you're done filling it up, what you need to do is put your suit on, and then you're going to take one of these jars of 33 molar, open it, and then slowly add it to bring it to 10 molar." "All right, no problem." She said, "Make sure nobody comes in the room." We got this little sign we put up on the door inside and said, "Danger, do not enter, currently mixing acid."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing around in this bright yellow suit looking like Big Bird with an airline. I look like Big Bird on oxygen, basically, because I had a hose hooked up. It was a positive pressure suit.
Well, they were keeping you alive. That's nice of them.
So, this room that my glasswares room was set up to where when you walked in and turned the light on, it automatically turned on the fume hood.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there. I've got my back to the door, big sign on the door, head level. So if you're coming in my door, you have to look at this sign. It says, "Do not enter." I'm sitting there. I'm gently pouring 10 molar or 33 molar to bring it down. I hear thunk.
The ceiling tiles?
No. Like, what the hell? So I set everything down and I turn, and there's the person laid on the floor. They didn't pay attention to the sign, walked in, and they walked into the vapor trail from the hydrochloric acid and passed out immediately.
That stuff happens, dude. I saw this report. A hotel down in Mexico was filling their pools with liquid nitrogen to make the fog, right?
Yeah.
And then people could swim around in the pool, and you're not swimming in liquid nitrogen, but
it's a low concentration. It's just enough to make it condense.
But the liquid nitrogen fog displaced all the oxygen. So people swimming around exerting all that energy are suddenly passing out and going into comas because there's no oxygen. And they're like, "Why is this happening?"
It's because you made everybody hypoxic.
Yes, I don't understand, man. Oh, look at all this beautiful fog we have. Yeah. So, kids, science is important.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put bleach and ammonia in your toilet when you clean your house, because that's mustard gas. Actually, should we even tell them how to make mustard gas?
Well, it says specifically on ammonia-based cleaners, do not add chlorine.
Yeah, and bleach is pretty much chlorine.
Or even better, I've seen people do this one. They'll go to they'll clean their toilet with bleach.
Yeah.
and then pee in it.
Oh God. I guess it's the same game, really.
Yeah, now you're adding ammonia from your urea.
Hey, quick tip: best way to clean grout works. Toilet bowl cleaner. It works great.
Mm-hmm.
And we're building models here. This is Warhammer.
Yeah, this is what we do when we're bored and feel like building models and painting models.
All right. Well, I've been pushing this off forever. I don't know why. All right, so that's gonna go like that.
Well, like my students, every once in a while, I'll bring some stuff to work on during my off period or during lunch or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, what's that for? Well, this is what keeps me from wanting to kill you in the middle of the day.
Brutally honest. It's not wrong though.
Yeah.
No, I've never done that at work. I need to though, like in an off hour, just so I can keep up with stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice little break during your off period. Like if I got to go do copies or something like that, obviously I'm going to go do that first.
Well, I get to work like an hour early anyway. I do
Same
it.
here.
I do it just so I don't have to fight people in the copy room.
Well, according to our school, because of our opening time and all that, we're supposed to be there no later than 7:15.
Same.
But I'm usually rolling in my classroom by 6:30.
Yeah. Okay.
And the only reason I'm there any later than that is my kids are taking a while getting dressed. Which, lucky for me, because the school board is no longer providing a transport bus,
How is that lucky?
I don't have to bring them to school with me anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, man, there's so many people who are up in arms about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame them. A lot of people depend on that stuff. And in all honesty, being a teacher and like the hours that we work, most daycares and stuff aren't really accommodating to teacher time.
No, they're not.
So,
I mean, it was a nice perk. I'm not going to lie. It's a good perk to have. But I understand why they got rid of it, because they had a lot of, from what I understand, they were having a lot of issues with teachers not being in their classroom on time because the bus, they were waiting to get their kids on the bus or something like that.
well, from what I heard, their logic was the cost per student served didn't justify it.
Well, what we're going to do is my middle child, she's special ed. So she rides with my niece, who's also special ed. So I just got to get her to my sister-in-law's house in the time that, in the morning, for them to catch the bus. Not a big deal. That's easy enough. My oldest lives in school. We're in school district for her junior high.
Mm-hmm.
So she catches the bus at the house no matter what.
Yeah.
And my baby, he's now going to the same school as my middle child.
When you say baby, isn't he like 6 now?
Yeah, he's 6 now. But he'll be going to the same school as the middle child. So what my wife's going to do is she's going to take him in the morning, and then possibly I still got to talk to our resource officer, because he's getting left out on the same in this, because his two kids go to the elementary school too.
Well, I was talking to the resource officers. They get left out on a lot of things. Like they're not allowed to eat school food, even if they pay, kind of thing.
We'll offer to the resource officers, and you can get them already. I'll come and pick them up, and then just take them to school with my youngest. Since his daughter and my son are in the same grade, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And then to take his son, who's 1 grade behind my son, to his school is not that much of a deal. It's half mile on the road extra.
Mm-hmm.
And for a guy that's going to risk his life and cover my ass if something happens at our school, yeah, I'll cover you on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know my feelings about police.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right there with you.
I'm always going to back my boys in blue.
I see. My first thought is YouTube just flagged our video.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, old YouTube.
I'm kind of upset that the L2 concealed carry died.
Oh, for teachers?
Yep.
Yeah.
It died a quiet death.
Are we surprised though? I mean, really?
Not really, but the way it died upsets me.
Well,
It got tabled and then never taken up again.
well, they got a backlash, and politicians' first job is to get reelected.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of thing that happened when they were trying to do the uniform thing, which is all right.
Well, I understand why parents were upset, at least at my school, why they were upset about the uniforms. Because for years, it had always been every 4 years, parents vote.
Yep.
And that's fine. But when they took the vote away from the parents, that's when it went all up in arms.
Yeah, and I agree. They shouldn't have done that.
Um,
I completely agree with that.
I personally believe it should have never been the parents' decision to begin with.
But they set a precedent.
Yep. Once you set the precedent, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You can't backlash against it. It's too much of a hassle. And if you want to be a reelected school board member, you got to make the public happy.
Well, you got to serve the public and the public's interests, and it's a pretty quick way to get the public interest, aware.
Yep.
This kit is kind of strange, not gonna lie.
It is a little funny.
Like, what supports that?
Nothing. Just your glue seam until you put the roof on.
That's funny.
That's why I like those plastic bonding cements, because it gives it a look. It's not as rigid as super glue, so it gives it a little more flexibility. Get this white towel out of there.
That's all right.
Oh, let's see here.
We should call this 2 dudes and a bottle of glue.
That just sounds so bad.
It's accurate then.
Somebody showed me a picture on Facebook, laughed my butt off. It was 2 girls standing in front of a Cup edition. I think it's a Fiat. It's a little European car.
Oh,
but it's like a Cup race edition. But they're on either side of the little thing that says Cup. So you have 2 girls standing in between a cup.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh my god.
That's pretty funny. Not gonna lie. I don't even think is that joke still even like a thing?
Apparently so, because it made its rounds last year in one of my classes.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah. Because I had a student or two come run up, fish, have you ever seen this? And it's like, what's it called? And they told me, I was like, I'm not commenting, and I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
And then immediately tell my friends, dude, they're just figuring this out.
What holds that in place? This is so dumb.
See, I understand why Games Workshop makes their models the way they do sometimes, because they want to sell more models. I mean, that's the business they're in.
Yeah.
But I wish, like with the Knights and stuff like that, they would make either a separate sprue you could buy separately, like an upgrade kit, so you could swap stuff out, or they would make it easier to be able to magnetize barrels to be able to swap stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, for the kits that I've wanted to magnetize, it hasn't been that difficult, to be honest. I mean, it's not easy. But no, what I would like to see is them like pin it for us. Just put the pins there. Because,
Or even just mold a divot in.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a true pin even. Just give me somewhere to kind of line up with.
Yeah. Especially for stuff like this. This makes no sense. Because this is like purely just kind of like right about there, fit it in.
Going through shading each one of these individual leaves.
You gonna do that?
Yep.
Right now?
We're doing it right now.
Oh my god. How many leaves per dude? Like 7,000?
No, thank God, no.
All right.
They make tree people, but they're kind of like winter tree people.
Winter is coming.
They've got male pattern leafness.
God, we're old. That joke's funny.
I accept the fact I'm old.
I like the term veteran.
Mm-hmm. I think when you hit 40 as a Games Workshop player, GW should buy you a hat that says a veteran of the Long War on it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Either when you have, let's say, 30,000 points, or you hit 40 years old, whichever comes first.
Jeez. I mean, I know you got a lot of stuff, and you know I got a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I've never actually sat down and counted. Have you?
I did one day for my Grey Knight Army.
Was it rewarding or depressing?
A little above.
Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking the same thing. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. And what's really, for me, the depressing part is the amount completed versus the amount incompleted. That's really the points value that I think matters.
Well, you've seen my Grey Knight Army. As big as it is,
Mm-hmm.
I still want to add to it.
Well, I think at some point it has nothing to do with an army anymore, and it has everything to do with the collecting side and the building your own chapter thing. And like, my goal is still to have a complete chapter. You know, I want 1,000 Marines.
I'm pretty close to that in Grey Knights, as far as chapter, not 1,000 Marines.
Yeah.
In my Space Marine chapter, I would say I'm 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
Or not 2/3, 2/10 the way there. Sorry. I've got about 200 Marines painted, ready to go.
I'm around like 600, I think. Not painted, but just like an ownership.
I'm about to, when I'm done painting this army, I'm going to go, and I kick myself in the ass for saying this because it's going to be a long thing. I'm going on a revamp methodology with my my Space Marines.
You're going to redo them?
No, I'm not redoing them, but like a lot of them are on the old 25 millimeter bases.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull them off the bases.
Ooh. She's excited.
I'm going to pull all the Marines off the bases, rebase everything, and go to like a unified basing system, kind of like I did with my Grey Knights.
They have the base add-ons that you can put and kind of like wraps around. You can 3D print them. I don't know if that's something you want to do.
Thought about it.
I don't know if that's more work or less work.
And at this point, neither do I.
I mean, you don't have to rip them off.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Well, like with my wife's Space Wolf Army,
Mm-hmm.
and I say wife's in air quotes.
Yep.
I
should make a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah, my wife's
this
army.
Is my wife's army. Air quote.
But with my wife's army, because I repainted that from scratch anyway, it wasn't that big of a deal because I just go ahead and knife them off the bases and start over. Let's see, I need Evil Sun Scarlet followed by Wild Rider. I know I grabbed all these. I'll tell you what, those paint racks that I put up, they make finding the colors that I need so much easier because when I was putting them up, I was kind of sorting by color hues. So I know all of my grays are roughly here. All of my greens are roughly here. And it makes my life a lot easier.
Well, that's good. See, that's the thing is like, I enjoy working at home, and that makes sense. But I actually have more fun going somewhere to work.
Yeah.
Because you're around other people in a different place. Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's just so real. It's really, really inconvenient to go somewhere.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I've made like my build box is designed to be a go box. Yeah. I can pick it up and roll. Like when I went to my house to get this, it was literally reach down, pick it up. I'm ready to leave with it. My pants, on the other hand, I'm trying to figure out a go box kind of design for them.
Yeah.
I'll show you what I found. I got these blades at Hobby Lobby. They're just the 3/8 wide chisel nose blades. So when these guys are on these white bases, but when I go to do the base, I'm tired of going around their little feet. Yeah. So I'm literally just going to take this chisel nose here, I'll just get up underneath the foot.
And pop them.
Yep, and pop them. And I mean, it doesn't take much. I just wiggle it a little bit.
Yeah.
And boom, it's off.
So you actually rebate? That's how you're doing it?
Yeah. So
that's good. Well, that just means whoever had them first, like whatever glue they used, wasn't like the best.
Oh no, I glued this one here with super glue.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, for priming and whatnot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But to get up underneath it with that chisel nose takes nothing.
Nothing, yeah. Because I have fought to get models off of bases before, and I leave behind like half a Marine foot.
My Grey Knight army, I've got well over 120 Space Marine standard size models in that army, and every last one of them came off with that chisel nose.
Well, that's good. So that's a big tip for you: chisel nose.
And you can get them at Hobby Lobby. Any really hobby shop should have that kind of thing. It's one of those things. Sometimes they'll have it, sometimes they won't.
Yeah. So like before I went to build all these, I watched a few videos and like what people complained about and whatnot. And everyone kept complaining about like the little graph plates or whatever. I'm not too worried about the graph plates, just looking at them. The amount of cleanup you have to do to all the pegs. And I'm thinking if people aren't doing their cleanup on their pegs, that's probably why they're hating the graph plates.
Yep. And a lot of what I see people complain about is improper prep work. If you don't clean it up, it's not going to fit right. And then you also see a lot of people, they'll put it together or they'll cut the parts and they don't dry fit it.
You got to do it.
You got to test this stuff. If it doesn't fit, it's not going to fit. I'd rather find out that it doesn't fit without glue on it first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because God forbid it actually sticks the first time you put it on.
Yeah, Lord knows, as much as I've used super glue, the one time I don't want it to stick, it'll grab like a son of a gun.
And so that's the thing. Like, I dry fit, and I go through it all the time. But you know what? Even then, you're not guaranteed to get it right.
I tell you what, one of the best investments I ever made for fitting parts.
Your files.
These little diamond files from Gale Force 9 makes these. And you've got flats, you've got triangles, you've got half rounds. Anything and everything you can need, they have. The only thing I don't like about them is they didn't glue these handle covers on real well. So I use this flat one more than anything else. So my handle comes off all the time. And I've tried to super glue it. And after a while.
Is it a rubber?
Yeah, it's a little rubber thing. So it doesn't hold real well.
Well, you know what you need to do? Get the lathe out, turn some little wooden ones and epoxy them on. If you want to do that.
Or I'll just get a drill and a piece of dowel rod.
Yeah, same game. Yeah.
Done. But I mean, I've got three different sorts of files here. I've got the diamond ones. I've got these big heavy duty ones from Gale Force. These work pretty good for rough work. And then I've got these that I got from Harbor Freight that they do okay for removing bulk material. But like if you look at this flat one, this has more wave in it than a piece of 2x4 from Lowe's.
Oh God. Well, see, like to me, I have files and whatnot, but I only ever file finished surfaces. So like if it's in the inside of a construct or whatever, I'll just use a razor blade.
Yeah.
But my finished work, like shoulder pads and that kind of stuff, I use a file.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If it's finished work, it's got to be a file.
Or you know what I've used before too? Emery boards for like girls and their nails. The emery boards do pretty good too.
Well, that's what my sanding pads are. Is basically nothing more than emery board with two different size grits on it, one on either side.
So guys, go out and get yourself a manicure kit. Change your life.
The foam backed ones are real nice because they'll match the contours. So you don't file flat spots where it shouldn't be.
Okay, so you know how I like to mold bits and stuff, right? And I've gone through several different ways and whatnot. I got some stuff. I'm still playing around with it, getting it right. But you know they have the UV UV cured nail resin.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I got a UV light and I got the resin for like building up or whatever. I'm gonna see if I can't use that to mold bits with.
I don't see why you couldn't.
I don't see why I can't either. The only thing I'm worried about is on a 2-part mold, not being able to get the UV in through the mold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
you mold one side and then you flip it and mold the other side.
and glue them
So
together.
you shouldn't have, or you make the mold out of the. Oh, you're talking the UV resin as the molding agent.
Yeah.
Or as the casting agent, not the molding.
Casting agent. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know, because I use the transparent oil maru.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that stuff, it probably does, block resin or block UV.
Well, it depends on what UV light which band of UV light that resin is cast.
Oh, it's like 0.3 nanometers or something like that.
Because there's 3 classifications of UV light, A, B, and C. UVA will go through just about anything.
Well, yeah, but this stuff is going to be people safe. So I doubt it's that, because that'll be bad for you.
Well, no, what I'm saying is like UVA light, the wavelength for UVA will go through glass perfectly fine.
But that's the kind of stuff that you can get skin cancer off of.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure the stuff for nails is going to be, I know it's like 0.3 nanometers or 0.003 nanometers. So
it might be UVB or C then, which I use that for my reptiles or for my lizards, not my snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes are kind of cool that they don't need that UVB and C. At least my corn snakes don't. But my chameleons need it.
Are those the ones you got off Tim?
The chameleons?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Does he still breed them?
I don't know if he breeds chameleons. I know he just bought a female and male sulcata tortoise.
Yeah, I saw that. What is he? That's the craziest stuff, dude.
Well, I love it. He posted a picture of his son with that tortoise and said, "I got him a new cat." I replied, "Looks like your cat's got a skin condition."
No kidding. Good Lord.
Or really matted hair, one or two.
Why not both? Let's see. How does this work?
I was like, I got a friend that posted a random question meant to create a laugh, but it was like, if your phone was at 5% and your charger was in a room where 2 other people were having sex, would you interrupt them to go get your charger? And my response was, no, my phone can last 2 more minutes.
Oh, God. Inappropriate jokes. Let's see, how does that work? Am I going to do that? I'm going to do that.
You don't need to magnetize that part.
Ah, I'll do that part.
Oh, so that you can take it off the base?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to do that. I know it's got these fancy little slotted kits, whatever.
On mine, I just glued that piece on, and it glued this piece to the base, and it just pops off.
And this is kind of what I'm feeling. Putting that in there, gluing that guy there. How to do that smartly?
That is the question.
Because this part goes to the base.
We almost need like a look down camera for what I'm doing here.
For all of us, yeah. I mean, this is by no means a good setup. But you know what it is?
It's practice.
It's the setup I got. And yeah, practice.
Well, like what I'm trying to do here is, I just realized with me holding this like I am, you can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But what I've done is I've put down a base coat of Quorum Red for these things. And in a second, I'll show you all a little bit more detail on these leaves where I've put the base coat of Quorum Red. And then I'm going back and I'm adding Evil Sun Scarlet. But I've thinned it considerably and I'm almost dry brushing it. But it's a wet dry brush, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like wet blending, but I'm not blending colors.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of like in between a shade and the new contrast colors and thickness.
Well, it's funny. People keep talking to me about the contrast paints for my Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, the way that I paint my Marines, it's the same basic setup.
Yeah.
I spray prime, and then I wash, and then I dry brush layer. Well, in this new setup, you have to spray prime, but it's not the color.
Yeah.
And then you wash, which is your color, right? And then you dry brush layer. So it's like, okay, I'm already doing this, guys.
Yeah. See, for my Space Marines, because I went with a black armor pattern, I don't have to. Nothing against Citadel and their paints.
No, I mean it's great. Yeah.
I am not a fan of the black contrast colors. They just, in my opinion, they don't work. They come out more gray than anything, and it's not what I want.
And it's funny, if you hear people talk, the black one is the one that everyone's going hype over.
I mean, and that's just what I saw in person when we went to the GW store and we used it.
Yep.
Because that's the one I mean, I've got probably 40,000 or 30,000 points just in Space Marines, especially when you add in all the Titanicus stuff or the Titans that I've got.
Well, this is my thought on the contrast. For a new army and a new player, perfect.
Absolutely.
Now, if you have an army already, well, you're not going to really be able to match what you got. So it doesn't really help you too much. Now, if it's going to save you time on like pouches and like purity seals, okay, yeah, sure, go for it. Faces, yeah, sure, go for it. Because they don't have to be the same. But
in fact, you want them different.
Yeah, so in that regard.
If y'all are seeing me pick some little stuff up off the table here, this is what I'm picking up. These are PGN ball bearings. They're stainless steel. And I'm putting them in my paint pots to act as agitators. It helps me get the most out of my paints, if I find. Now, these are 1/8 inch ball bearings, but I think I'm going to go up to 6 millimeter ones because the 6 millimeters will actually fit inside of the Vallejo paints when you pop the dropper off of it.
And you use both, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't use Vallejo as much. I use a lot of Citadel.
This is going to be bad.
What you got?
Well, I got a magnet that I have polarized. I'm going to drop onto it, but it's got the glue on it, so it's going to like splat everywhere.
That's okay.
It's kind of exciting.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. It's a howdy money shot. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, you can get a magnet sheet for your workstation. Actually, wasn't too bad. And guess what? Now you can't knock your pots over.
I tell you what, one of the best, and I'm just laying these out here, guys, so you can see when I show you these leaves, this is the color scheme that I went with. And I really should put this, that's the wash that I put in between the base and the first layer.
I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some epoxy pudding.
No problem. What I'm trying to make this look like, I don't want to have all of my army have the same color leaves all the way across, because uniformity is not what I'm really looking for in this army. It's a very organic kind of army. So I want to take and have some diversity of color in here. So I've created schemes where I've got 52 dryads, or total actually 56 when I take the 4 that I test painted and redo them. I want to take and be able to throw in some contrasting colors. So I'm doing some in red leaves. I did some that are pink that remind me of cherry blossom trees. And then I'm going to do some yellows as well. So, and I can mix and match them and play around.
That's good.
Good old-fashioned JB Weld.
Yes, this is the quick stuff. The tube kind. Not the steel stick, but
yeah.
This is what I use to actually cast parts now.
Yep. I've been using that too.
It's good.
Works very bueno.
But so when I do my magnets and whatnot, I either use steel stick or this in conjunction with super glue. Because when it's an interior magnet, you know what I don't want to have happen?
Yeah, come loose and roll around.
Yeah. Been there, done that. It sucks.
I haven't had any interior ones come off yet. But then again, like when I put them in, I would super glue them down, let that super glue dry, and then I would encase them in super glue.
Yeah, same game. It's just I'm doing it all now. And like I've done it with super glue before, and I'm probably not the best as far as taking care of models. Like I'll let that magnet pop on and off instead of like holding it slow to it. So, you know, I know my weaknesses.
One of the things I found works really good for super glue. I am not a big fan of zip kicker because it smells like complete cat piss.
And if you don't know what zip kicker is, it's like a super glue accelerator.
Yeah. You can find it at almost every hobby shop.
Yeah.
What I'm using in lieu of zip kickers, I mix up water with baking soda.
Yep.
And that does it pretty good. And then if I've got a big crack or a seam I got to fill, I put the baking soda down first, and then I use super thin super glue, and it sets up almost instantaneously. It's sandable, it's fileable, paintable.
If you guys can't tell, I don't care what the inside of this tank looks like. Just saying.
Yeah, because these hatches ain't opening.
No, they're not.
Not for like Golden Demon or something like that. Yeah, I might want to make it open, but for a tabletop, nope.
No, and I'm not good enough for that Golden Demon game. I'm good enough to play a game, have some fun with my friends, and if a buddy of mine says, "Hey, that looks good," that's enough for me. I'm okay with that. Right. The approval of my peers, you know what I'm saying?
So I'll give you all an example. This is the. Let's see if I can get this close enough for that camera to see.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm waiting for the lag on the iPad.
Yeah, I know.
So this is the pink ones that I'm trying to do like the Japanese cherry blossoms. And these haven't fully dried, but they're getting there. These are the reddish orange leaves. So they look kind of like a deciduous tree. I'm about to do some yellowish orange and get them done. And then everything else is going to be just standard old green.
Hey, you think that's enough?
I think you use just a little more.
Yeah. If it's worth doing, right? It's worth overdoing.
Now, what's kind of cool with these guys is because I'm using a light base coat, what they recommend for doing all the little glyphs and eyes and all that on this is first painting in like a real light gray and then touching it up with the blue wash. Yeah, this is already light. And even though I don't think they make this anymore, Gilliman Blue Glaze.
They do. It's online only now, though.
Okay.
Now, I was talking to Chaz about it. But you know what happens with online only, right?
They run out.
They run out and it goes away. And I don't know what you guys, when I want paint, I want paint now. Maybe I'm just old. I'm old.
But for these guys' eyes and all their glyphs, it's just a little Gilliman Blue just to get down in those recesses and give it that kind of glow effect.
That's how I do all my lenses now.
Just glazes?
Glazes. Do white, put a glaze in it. Do white and like an orange dot, and then put a glaze in it if you want to get like really fancy. It's so much easier, so much better. Before, I used to put like 6 colors in an eye, and it looked okay. Glazes, they look amazing. And almost no work. All right, so I need to let that set for a bit.
Glazes are kind of like null oil. It's almost liquid talent.
Yeah.
And if y'all aren't using null oil in your painting, something's wrong with you. Get null oil.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. It's like the first time I ever heard about washes, it was null oil and Axrax Earthshade.
And that was it.
That was it. That's where life was. But then, you know, you discover a few new things, and then suddenly you're like, I could paint this whole thing with washes.
Yeah, like when I first started my Grey Knights army, everything was lead belcher Nola, and then I discovered that the Midnight, the blue wash.
Oh yeah.
It makes such a difference when I'm doing my big models, or when I'm doing, especially my showpiece models, my HQs and stuff like that. They look so much better with that blue wash than they do with Nola.
Well, the way I do my iron hands, I prime them black, I dry brush them lead belcher for highlights, and then I wash them that dark blue wash. And where the lead belcher is, it makes really nice highlights on black, and that wash makes really nice low lights on the black portion that didn't get dry brushed. And you know how much work it was? None. Prime black, dry brush, lead belcher, wash blue, and it looks like $1 million.
Well, like my Space Marine army, for those of y'all that have never seen my Space Marine, which is going to be the vast majority of y'all, my Space Marine army is based off of the Punisher. So black armor with white highlights, or white accent panels, I should say. But for highlighting black, almost everybody highlights gray.
Yeah, Eshin gray is like the go-to.
And I didn't want that. I wanted a little, almost warmer black than the Eshin gray will give me. So I dry brush about a medium kind of coat of Dark Reaper.
Okay.
And then I lightly dry brush or edge with Thunderhawk blue.
Oh, I want a plastic Thunderhawk. Reset the.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, no, that's good. And that's the thing is, like, just because someone recommends something, i.e. GW, doesn't mean you got to do it. And like, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got into it, online painting tutorials were pretty much life. And then when GW came out with theirs, life. And like for me, one of the big things that really set my painting game up was the little app. Because the thing is I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know what highlights worked well with what.
You knew what you wanted, but you didn't know the path to get to it.
Exactly. And that app, oh my God. Yeah, if you're doing a base red, this works great. Use this highlight. I was like, okay. And I would.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit, I haven't been doing this for a long time. I've been painting models. Well, I should say, I've been painting models, airplanes, cars, things like that, since I was about 12.
Yeah.
I've been painting them well for about 8 years.
Well, heck, I started this in 2011, and I didn't really start getting good at painting until about, what year is this? 2019? 2019.
Yeah.
And I'm really not that good.
Well, I started. Jeremy Spohr is the one that got me in this.
Did he really?
Yep. He called me. He and I were coaching wrestling together, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come in on Wednesday and come play over at what was Level Up?" I was like, "Okay, I'll come." So he gave me 6. I can't even remember what they were. They were an Eldar model. I can't even remember what it was, but he gave me 6 Eldar models, and he taught me how to play kill teams. So I played kill teams for the first time, and I said, okay, I kind of like this. He goes, well, if you like kill teams, you'll probably like 40K. It's same general rules, but on a much bigger scale. I was like, okay, so what do I need? And he showed me the different armies that were out, and this has to be probably 2010 or 11, so about the same time you started.
I started at Magic, so this is after me because Level Up wasn't a thing yet.
Okay, so yeah, I started probably 2010 or 11 at Level Up with Jeremy, and then I liked it, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I like these Grey Knight armies. I like the lore behind them. And for those of y'all that are starting an army, don't look at price or anything like that. look at an army you're interested in the lore of, because if you're interested in their lore, then you're going to want to mess with them. And I mean, that's the biggest thing. I love the Grey Knights lore. That's why I have probably 14,000 points of Grey Knights floating around my house.
For me, it's lure and look.
Mhm.
Because you're going to have to build them.
Yeah.
You're going to have to paint them. You're going to have to stare at them for a while.
Long while sometimes.
Yeah, if you don't like the way they look, you're going to hate your life eventually.
Yep. Okay.
But like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the very first 40K model I ever saw, I was looking for D&D models to paint because that's just what I was looking to do. And I saw Tau models. And I thought they were cool. Like robots and like the Fire Warrior especially like really stood out to me. And I was like, that's cool. I want to do that. Never got them. Never did it. You know, I just went and grabbed the D&D figure. And then I got into Marines because they had the Assault on Black Reach box that came out. And it was really easy to start and split a box with a friend. And the shop, Magic, had just started a slow growth league. And somebody was starting orcs. And I was like, Marines. Oh, yeah. Steamroll later, millions of dollars and points later. Of course, exaggerating. But there it was. And that's how I got into it. Assault on Black Reach.
Yeah, and I mean, the same way happened with Age of Sigmar. I bought my first Age of Sigmar models when the original box came out. Me and Jeremy split a box. And then I built mine and I base coated them silver, which I think you still have them.
I do.
And they're ugly as hell.
I do. Yeah, I still have them.
So I took and I got them built, and Jeremy and I think played one game with them out of that box set.
Well, that's when the game first came out, and the rules are doo-doo.
Yeah, well, and then Jeremy got sick, and eventually he passed away, and he only played that like one game of them.
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, Jeremy was a real good friend of mine, it kind of put me off on it for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they were literally sitting in a box on my shelf, and I never touched them.
They just stared at you. Yeah.
And then you were starting your Age of Sigmar Stormcast army, and I sold them to you for pretty damn cheap. I think I forget what.
I think that's good. That was a good deal.
But I mean, and it was just because it had memories that were associated that I didn't want anymore.
Yeah.
So I got rid of them. And then you started with the, hey, I want to play this, and I sat down. And I'll admit it, I almost started a new Stormcast army.
Did you really?
I came very, very close when you said, hey, let's play Age of Sigmar. And then I realized, and then I thought to myself, he's already got a Sigmar army, or Stormcast army. So it's going to be weird, Stormcast against Stormcast.
Yeah. Oh, you know you love the tree people, though.
Oh, yeah. But then I started looking at it, and I was torn between the Sylvaneth and the Deepkin. The
fish people?
Yeah, the fish people.
Really? The flying sharks? I can't take them seriously, dude. It's like get some bath toys and put them on sprues. Well, I don't know. I'm terrible. Sorry. If you play Deepkin out there, my bad.
I am a scuba diver, so.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that. Okay. You know what?
So there is a connection.
There. Okay.
But I digress.
So your next army, then?
So, believe it or not, no.
Really?
If I get another AOS army, I think it's going to be the Flaming Dwarves.
Oh, Free Slayers?
Yeah, the Free Slayers.
Their start collecting box is amazing. Like
absolutely.
The dragon thing in there by itself is over $100, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're 60.
60? Okay. Well,
I think they're all like $60. The big models in the 6 range, and the small models are like in the either the 40 or 50 range for a box of them, or what you get it worth of it. So that when you buy the start collecting box, you're saving anywhere between $10 and $20 starting cost.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good deal. I'm not going to say it's a bad deal. You don't need to get it. No. Anytime you can save money in this hobby, save money.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Let's see. Put this on first. What is?
Just giving y'all a heads up, what I've lined out here, these are the base, wash, and then 2 layers I'm going to do for the orange models, or the orange leaves.
This is why you get more done there.
Yeah, it's a little fiddly bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at it and seeing what they're thinking.
Yeah. You got to get it in the head of the engineer that made this.
Right. And that's another thing, too. Like, the kits have evolved so much just in our short time of being in this hobby.
Oh, man. Half of my Grey Knight army is lead, or pewter, I should say.
Yeah. Monopose, one side cast.
Mm-hmm.
Super easy to build, super easy to paint.
Super annoying to paint because, like, you want to paint the object like it should look, but because it's cast in pewter, it's 4 times thicker because it happens to be on a recessed side that had to be filled in.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure out where to make the stop line.
And then if it hits anything, the paint falls off of it because pewter's like, nah, no paint on me. Unless you like put 7 layers of sealer on them.
I'll tell you what, the best sealer I have ever found for pewter models is Krylon Crystal Clear Satin.
Yeah. See, that's one of the things too. Like, I did a primer video, and you know, Army Painter makes great primer.
Mm-hmm.
Citadel, they make great primer. You know, all these companies make great primers, but how expensive are they?
Yeah, you're talking $20 a bottle.
All right, now look.
Or a can.
Companies like Rust-Oleum and Krylon, they're multi-million-dollar companies that put lots of money into their product and their product testing. And you know what? I've never had a can go bad. I've never had a bad spraying can. And I can tell you this, I've had bad Citadel cans.
Mm-hmm.
I've had bad experiences with Army Painter cans.
The only problem I've ever had out of a Krylon or a Rust-Oleum can is, especially if it was a true primer, it would be super thick, and if I didn't use it or clean the tip out real good, it would get gunky and didn't want to spray right.
Turn that bad boy upside down.
Yep. So that's the only problem I've ever had, but since I've started flipping cans when I'm done with them, I've never had a problem.
Mm-hmm. What is this?
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want a matte finish, stay the hell away from Krylon and, Rust-Oleum. Go with Army Painter.
Yeah.
Army Painter has made the only matte finish that I have ever used in a spray can that does not leave it foggy.
Well, so that's another thing too. Where we live, moisture is always a concern when priming.
For those of y'all know, we live in Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah. So we pretty much swim.
Yeah. Any day that it's below 85% humidity is a good day for us.
Yeah. That's not even a lie. That is the most fiddly arrangement ever. That's how they're doing that?
Well, I've got a friend that's working a job up in Illinois right now on the pipeline.
Mm-hmm. And that is time. All right, guys. Thank you. Oh my goodness. And that is Abby right there for you.